New players come, and they all are going to be operating under the shadow of Tom Brady. It's just the way it is. Hey, speaking of Brady, what was the local reaction to all of the conflict of interest talk fueled by Brady sitting in the coach's box week 2 Monday night with the headset, with the tablet, with the button on the chair that caused him to try to shrink out of view once he realized he was on screen? It was such a big story nationally. What's the thought locally?
I didn't even know that you had noticed that happen. I hadn't seen any posts
Yeah.
on that.
Yeah.
Um,
Quiet you.
um, what's funny, Mike, is people are still, I don't know if it's our producers or the things that we talk about on the radio frequently, but there's a fixation with, wow, could you believe Brady's with the Raiders? Why can't he be with us? And I'm like, why are people having such a hard time? It's 7 years down the road. So it's not as much the conflict of interest. The first thing is, you're seeing your ex, driving down the street in another car with someone
It
else.
is weird, though. It is
But you
weird.
got to get over it. It was Tampa. It's been he's won Super Bowls. He's been in
But he's
parades.
got no objective reason to own a piece of the Raiders. If he's going to own a piece of any team, he should own a piece of the Patriots. I understand that.
I don't, because to me, you're just ignoring the circumstances under which Tom Brady left the Patriots. And I'm theorizing here because it didn't happen. So I don't know this to be the case, but I would imagine there's a point at which Tom said, you know what, I'm kind of all set with the Patriots in terms of the business end of things. Because very plainly, Bill was being Bill at the end. Tom didn't expect anything different. Tom expected that at the end, the Bill would try and move on from him. And he only did it for like 6 years. But at the end, Robert Kraft had always been the individual who was the guy to step in and make sure the olive branch was extended and things happened. And that's why Brady in July of 2019 said, hey, ask Mr. Kraft where my extension is. And Robert really kind of did the Pontius Pilate and said, you know what, Bill, I'm going to defer to you. And as a result, I think that Tom was more agitated at Robert Kraft at that juncture. So now when it comes time to do business and he wants to be an owner and he's going to get a portion of a team at a drastic discount, which he did, maybe he wanted to do it on the West Coast or out West. And maybe he didn't want to join up business-wise with the Patriots. He had done business with the Patriots for 20 years. Think about that, Mike.
Well, and it may be that he needed someone who would be foolish enough to sell him a piece of the team for as cheap as Mark Davis sold him a piece of the team, because I think most owners would not have taken that kind of a bath. He needed Mark Davis.
So that's why
I'm like, Mark Davis. All due respect to Mark Davis, he needed a Mark Davis who wouldn't say, "Are you kidding me? There's no way I'm selling 5% equity for that."
Yeah. So every time I hear the conversation, like, why would Tom Brady want to be in business here? He gets shown the friggin' door. He can say all he wants on the field that I always want to be a Patriot and I'm always a Patriot. But that Tom Brady, who was so downtrodden and disappointed and sad that he got shown the door, I think has easily and thoroughly moved past it.
Well, it'll be interesting because I believe that the league doesn't care. Obviously, they're trying to defend it now to the point where the commissioner's saying there is no conflict, which is just patently false. Brady's trying to thread a needle that has no hole. And I think what will happen is if the Raiders ever become good, if the Raiders are ever a consistent high-level contender, that's when all of a sudden everybody's going to be running around saying, we got to do something about this Tom Brady thing. And I think they're betting on the fact that at some point between now and the duration of Brady's contract at Fox, the Raiders just won't be a high-end contender. But if they are, it's going to be like the Patriots we're dealing with, they're always cheating, and like the Eagles are dealing with, we got to get rid of the tush push. All of a sudden, that thing is going to become emergency, and we must deal with it.
I agree 100%. It's like the San Diego Chargers with ball manipulation. back in the whenever 2000s or even 2010s. No one cared. Patriots.
No one cared. No one cared. They stunk.
They stunk. I think they got a flag or a warning or a letter. But you're right. And to me, the conflict of interest is so obvious that I don't know who it was who was saying, well, there's some guys who are alumni of particular teams that we know that they talk to, so we just don't tell them anything.
Yeah.
Well, that's why you don't tell them anything.
Right.
Because you're concerned. You know he's going to go back and talk? No. I mean, judges, as you were in the law profession, Michael, judges recuse themselves for the mere appearance of it. So there's a different standard that you hold yourself to. And when Tom, and I get along with him well and respect him and enjoy him, but when you say, how could you think that I would do anything unethical? As if you're the only one who can possibly, you should be absolved from having to do this with the rules. It says more about you than it does about me if you think that there's anything untoward. And no.
And that's what he did, and that was offensive. That was offensive. And I view him differently after that newsletter because it's an arrogance. It's a reflection of post-truth, post-standards America. But the comment you made, I think, was something that Roger Goodell said to justify it. And there's a fundamental difference between being leery of an alumnus and welcoming someone who owns equity in that competitor. And the idea that anyone would suggest it's not a conflict because you can trust me to do the right thing. No, that's the reason we have these rules.
Yep.
Because we don't want people to have to police themselves. Because there's going to be somebody who comes along who isn't trustworthy.
Yep. He's paid by both sides. He's paid by Fox generously, and he has to maximize his investment and do the right thing for both entities. So where is that?
The two jobs are in irreconcilable conflict, and it will linger until the Raiders are winning Super Bowls. All right, Tommy, got to go. Thank you, buddy. Hi, it's Mike Florio. Thanks for watching PFT on YouTube. Hit subscribe for the latest news and analysis from Pro Football Talk.